Please forgive the hair. It is a frizzy, yucky mess today. I live in Texas, so it's like 110 outside. Very hot, very humid. So yeah, that's why my hair looks the way that it does. So yeah, sorry. Oh, I hate that glare. So I didn't record yesterday. I didn't really have much to say yesterday. I don't really have a whole lot to say today. I never did get a call back for that job. So, meh. On to the next. I did apply for, I've been applying pretty much constantly for months and months and months and months. But I did apply for one yesterday that I'm really excited about, actually. I've applied for them before, but this time the application process was a little bit different. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe my first application didn't go through, which is highly possible. And if that's the case, that really sucks because this was a company that was recommended to me by one of my former supervisors, and says, hey, a lot of people are going to this company, and, from our company, and they're doing well. So, yeah. And it, as it turns out, this particular position that I've applied for this time is just a part-time, so it'll work out. I think right now that's kind of my focus. For so long it had been, I got to find a full-time job. I got to get paid, $14 an hour. I've got to, all these things that I have to do. And now I don't really have to do that because Bo's making a little more money, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off of me, which I appreciate a lot. And I've been, it kind of frees up a little bit of time for me to kind of get my, basically get my shit together, have time for appointments, doctor's appointments, counseling appointments, and things like that. And after all of that, I thought, well, maybe I can go, and I've always been interested in like photography, but I've got like a $700 or $800 camera, that I bought, quite a while back. But it's still a good camera. Of course, I would love to buy an even newer, better one, but that's a pipe dream right now. But yeah, I would love to, learn about, lighting and editing and, all of that stuff. That seems to me to be something that's would be a good creative outlet. And there are certain things that I enjoy photographing. So yeah, I'm very interested in that. And I think that would maybe bring back a little bit of pleasure into my life, because right now I'm not enjoying a whole lot of anything. Or taking some creative writing classes. I've done that before in the community college. Gone and taken creative writing classes just to do it. When I was younger, particularly, just because I enjoyed writing so much. And it was kind of a way to keep me motivated and to kind of keep my creative juices flowing. My creative juices have come to kind of somewhat of a halt here recently, and maybe they need a little bit of a kickstart. But yeah, so that's kind of why I'm focusing right now on part-time work, because I think if I can find something part-time that has, reasonable pay, that we should be able to not only do well, but even have money left over to build the savings back up. Our savings account has dwindled quickly, very, very quickly. And that makes me feel very uncomfortable because, we have 2 cars. We have currently a house that is falling apart around us. The roof is so bad. We've got places where the ceiling it's just bad. We have a leak in the back. One of our back faucets in the backyard has had a constant leak for a good long while now, and it has doubled our water bill. So, yeah, we got a lot to do. Our fence is absolutely, positively, literally crumbling. And I don't know how much longer we can, Band-Aid it, it's like we try to find ways to, kind of patch it. We did that with the back fence for a long, long time. We used plyboard. We used, whatever we could think of, we used for that back part of the fence, and it just came down. And when it came down, we had to get it replaced. And luckily, at that time, we had the money in savings to split that cost with our neighbors. But we have 2 other neighbors and 2 other sides of the fence that both are coming down, and the gate is, I'm surprised it's still standing. So we're looking at probably $1,500 worth of fence repair. And that is a real low ball. That is if we can get a really good deal on our part, Now, for whatever reason, if the neighbor can't pitch in, that then takes the cost up, it could be anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000 to get that fence replaced, including the gate. Stressful. It's very, very stressful, especially with not working. I'm not bringing in anything right now. My unemployment ran out. So yeah, I'm surprised. I've had some emotional episodes, and I've had some battles with the depression and sleeping a lot. Of course, I've talked about my anxiety. But I think all in all, considering, I'm doing much better than I thought I would do. Now, if the fence were to fall down right now, then I'd be a basket case. Because, it just feels like one thing happens and then another thing happens and it all happens at the same time. But my boyfriend's so funny. He said, you survived it up to this point, all these things went bad, last year and the year before and the year before, and look at us, we're still here, nothing catastrophic has happened. So, I guess that's just kind of like my expectation that something catastrophic is going to happen. Just you wait and you see it will happen. But that's not true. It's not true. It's all up here. It's all worry. And I was talking to my mom today, and, if I didn't have something to worry about, I would worry about that. So, anyway, that was literally a ramble. That had nothing to do with anything. So yeah, it's funny because, for whatever reason, I just kind of randomly started thinking about my dad. I talk about, in previous vlogs, I talk about how I get flustered, and trying to explain to other people what that is and why I react that way to a lot of situations. My dad we used to call it his fret face. He used to, it's hard to explain. He would grit his teeth, and that was his version of getting flustered. And I understand now why that happened to him, and I understand now why it happens to me. It's because the process, the brain just doesn't process information as quickly as it comes sometimes. And when you're trying to keep up, that's where the fluster comes in. That's where the, oh my God, I'm getting lost. I'm getting behind. I have to keep up. And of course that triggers anxiety, which of course makes it worse. Like I said, vicious cycle. It's all a cycle. But yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was just remembering that face that my dad used to make. He doesn't do it so much anymore. He doesn't work anymore. So he's retired now. And I mean, he still has his moments. I mean, he still has his speaking difficulties, as do I. But now, I mean, it's like, now that we're adults, me and my brother were adults, and because I guess we just became accustomed to it growing up as kids, it doesn't seem as as prevalent. Is that the right word? I think it is. So we don't notice it quite as often. And for me, stress definitely makes it worse. Definitely. When in times where I'm not stressed, like at my old job, I enjoy. I mean, it wasn't that I just loved my job, but I enjoyed the fact that I didn't feel a lot of stress or was under a lot of pressure from that job. I stayed busy. There was always something to do, and I always worked. But I was able to move at my own pace. And that is what is kind of the key for me, is being able to move at my own pace and setting my own kind of rhythm. Once I've done that, then you'll notice that my productivity will increase, because I have set my pace, especially in the learning process. Once the learning process is over, and I start becoming better at what I'm doing, I will become faster at what I'm doing. Those compensations will be there. My brain won't have to be processing new information. So it's just very complicated, and it's just very hard to explain to people, especially in the workplace. And I worked that job, like I said, for almost 11 years. I think I told one person while I was there that I was dyslexic. But that's it. I mean, I did not disclose it to, HR or my boss or, so that's the way I like it. That's the way I don't like telling people, but I don't know how to get around it anymore. Because as I've gotten older, my processes seem to be slowing down even more, which is not good. So I'm going to go because I've babbled. I've babbled a lot today. And I just don't want to babble anymore. So you guys stay positive, smile, relax. Netflix. I watched 2 movies on Netflix last night for the first time in months. That I actually watched a movie. 2 movies. So maybe I can do that again today. I don't know. We'll see. But y'all do that. It's fun. It's very relaxing. So.